Drama, suspense, and euphoria. Three things you wouldn't normally associate with a stuffy conference room. For 12 days, delegates to the United Nations Climate Change Conference have been meeting in Montreal, but without much progress. Then, early this morning, a breakthrough. Eve Savory reports.
Perhaps it was the news that glaciers in Greenland are melting and thinning. Or perhaps the projection that in 25 years our emissions of carbon dioxide will have risen by 50% that gave the meeting its sense of urgency.
Emissions are going up and up when the science asks us to put it down and down. So we need to not miss an opportunity to work together and to stop the blame game.
Yet for almost 2 weeks, 182 nations supposedly committed to stopping climate change kept agreement tottering on the edge of failure. Saturday at 3 a.m., long after the conference should have closed, negotiations were in crisis. Anxious discussions in hallways, tense meetings behind closed doors had finally, it seemed, brought agreement. The countries that had ratified the Kyoto Protocol had agreed to start the process that would take them to the next phase of cutting their greenhouse gas emissions. No sooner had the president of the conference brought it to the floor than he was sandbagged. Russia objected.
Since you are blocking such an important decision, you should express your case to the world, please.
Nation after nation pleaded with Russia.
And I do passionately hope that our Russian colleague will not press his concerns further.
Russia made a proposal. Saudi Arabia objected. It seemed years of work and negotiation were lost. More rushing, more meetings. 4 a.m., 4:30, 5 a.m. There was another source of tension. Would the U.S., which backed away from Kyoto, finally agree to at least a dialogue with all the other nations on climate change? Suddenly, objections melted away. First the Russians and then the American concerns were met. Such jubilation for such small steps.
We've been in negotiations, as you know, right through the night, and at 6:17 this morning, he brought down the gavel on a set of agreements that may well save the planet.
And with that, what they're calling the Montreal Action Plan was to begin. Eve Savory, CBC News, Montreal.